Look at the piles of plastic chips sliding across the green felt. Yellow, red, black. Under the glare of hundreds of high-definition security cameras inside the Solaire Resort and Casino in Manila. Listen to the clinking sound. It sounds like a game. It looks like high rollers testing their luck. It is an illusion. Those plastic chips are not gambling money. They are the sovereign wealth of a nation. They are the lifeblood of the Bangladesh Central Bank. $81 million of federal reserves, changing colors, changing shapes, evaporating right in front of the world. This is not a casino floor. It is the final destination of the greatest digital heist in human history. And it is operating entirely within the boundaries of the law. Rewind to February 5th, 2016. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York processes a series of encrypted SWIFT messages. SWIFT is the central nervous system of global finance. It does not move money. It moves absolute trust. Keystrokes originating from a compromised server in Dhaka dictate new absolute truths. The code executes. The digital vault opens. $81 million leaves the United States. It crosses the Pacific Ocean at the speed of light. It lands precisely in 4 bank accounts. The location is the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, RCBC, the Jupiter Street branch in Makati, the financial heart of Manila. These 4 accounts are ghosts. They were opened 9 months earlier, in May 2015. They used fake driver's licenses, fictitious names. They held a dormant balance of exactly $500 each. They generated no activity. They triggered no automated risk algorithms. They waited in the dark. Now, they hold 81 million. The trap is sprung. The timing is a mathematical weapon. It is a Friday in the Philippines. The banks are open. The financial sector is moving at full speed. But in Bangladesh, it is the weekend. The central bank offices in Dhaka are empty. The monitors are dark. The printers are jammed by custom malware designed to suppress the confirmation receipts. The Federal Reserve in New York is heading into its own weekend. The hackers have engineered a temporal blind spot, a golden window of 72 hours, 3 days where the global financial system is legally blind. 72 hours to make $81 million disappear permanently. Digital money leaves a trail. IP addresses, server logs, digital signatures. The hackers know this architecture intimately. The only way to break the digital chain is to force the money into the physical world. It requires friction. It requires mass. It requires the chaotic streets of Manila. Enter Philrem Service Corporation, a local remittance company. The digital dollars flow from the RCBC branch into Philrem accounts. The conversion protocol begins immediately. The hackers need local currency to vanish into the local economy. Millions of US dollars are aggressively sold off. They are converted into Philippine pesos. Consider the physical reality of this transaction. $81 million is not a sleek silver briefcase of cash. It is an industrial logistics operation. $1 million in $100 bills weighs 22 pounds. Converted to Philippine pesos at the current exchange rate, the mass multiplies exponentially. The volume becomes a logistical nightmare requiring heavy machinery. This is no longer a cybercrime executed from a basement. It is a heavy freight operation executed in broad daylight. The digital code is now paper. Mountains of paper, bundled in heavy-duty plastic, stacked on wooden pallets, waiting for transport. The delivery mechanism activates. Armored vans idle in the suffocating heat of the Manila financial district. Armed guards load heavy suitcases into the reinforced steel compartments. The sheer volume of the currency overwhelms the standard transport protocols. Some of the cash does not even get the luxury of armored transport. Millions in pesos are shoved into cardboard boxes, stuffed into the trunks of private sedans. Ordinary vehicles blending into the chaotic gridlock of the city. Moving at a crawl through the dense exhaust fumes, carrying the stolen sovereign reserves of a nation. If you want to understand how the impossible becomes reality, how global defense networks fail against street-level tactics, you are in the right place. Subscribe to Clarity Uncovered. We do not just read the headlines, we tear them apart. We show you the blueprints of the underworld. Hit the notification bell, because the system is more fragile than you think, and we are tracking every crack. The vehicles navigate away from the financial district. They do not head to a secret underground bunker. They do not drive toward an abandoned port facility. They move directly toward the brightest lights in the metropolis, the entertainment district. The glittering glass and steel facades of the mega casinos. Solaire Resort and Casino, Midas Hotel. The cash is moving from the highly regulated shadow of the banking sector directly into the neon glow of the gaming floors. The global banking system tracks money through compliance, anti-money laundering laws, KYC regulations, know your customer. Every legitimate financial institution in the world asks questions. Where did this money come from? Who is the ultimate beneficiary? What is the exact business purpose? A sudden influx of $81 million in physical cash triggers every automated alarm in the international banking grid. But the armored vans are not stopping at a bank. They pull up to the VIP entrances of the casino complexes. They unload the heavy suitcases. They push the overloaded carts across the polished marble lobbies, past the heavily armed security guards, past the sophisticated facial recognition surveillance cameras. Millions of dollars in raw cash entering the building, and nobody asks a single question. No alarms are triggered in any database. No federal agents are waiting by the elevators. The money crosses the threshold smoothly, quietly, efficiently. The hackers have found the ultimate blind spot. This smooth entry is not a failure of casino security. It is a feature of the national law. In 2016, the Philippine Anti-Money Laundering Act contains a massive structural void. Casinos are explicitly exempt from the legislation. They are not legally required to report suspicious transactions to the government. They do not have to verify the origin of funds brought in by high rollers. The mega casinos operate as sovereign financial black holes, a parallel banking system with zero oversight. The hackers did not choose Manila by accident. They mapped the global legal framework and found the path of least resistance. They drove the stolen federal reserves right through the front door of a legally protected vacuum. The digital heist is over. The physical laundering process is about to begin. Before the money even reached the casino floor, it required human compliance at the branch level. The hackers found their human fail point in the RCBC branch manager. As the recall messages from the Federal Reserve flooded the SWIFT system, demanding the funds be frozen, the branch manager overrode the protocols. The system generated explicit warnings. The warnings were ignored. The holds were manually lifted. The cash was forcefully pushed out of the bank vault and into the waiting vehicles. It was a complete collapse of institutional control. The digital safeguards functioned perfectly. The human element simply turned them off. This internal betrayal was the critical bridge between the digital hack and the physical laundering. Without the manual override at the branch level, the $81 million would have remained trapped in the banking grid. The cash enters the private VIP rooms on the upper floors of the Solaire Resort. The hackers do not touch the money directly. They deploy a proxy network of junket operators. Junket operators are independent financial entities operating inside the casino architecture. They manage the high rollers. They provide the credit lines. They control the flow of capital in the private gaming suites. The stolen federal reserves are deposited directly into these junket accounts. The operators take the raw cash. They issue casino chips in return, but they do not issue standard chips. They issue a very specific financial instrument known as a dead chip.
A dead chip is non-negotiable. It carries a unique visual marker and an embedded RFID tracking tag. You cannot walk a dead chip to the cashier cage and exchange it for fiat currency. The casino will reject the transaction. The dead chip must be placed in the betting circle. It must be subjected to the statistical risk of the casino floor. The hackers accept this operational constraint. They are not in Manila to gamble the $81 million. They are executing a physical decryption sequence. The dead chips represent the encrypted, highly toxic state of the stolen money. The casino table is the cryptographic key required to unlock it. The game of choice is Baccarat. It is not poker, it is not blackjack. Baccarat requires absolutely zero skill. It is a game of pure mathematical probability, driven by rigid dealing rules. The player bets on either the player hand or the banker hand. The house edge on the banker bet is exactly 1.06%. It is a statistical coin flip. The hackers deploy the dead chips onto the green felt in massive volumes. They place maximum bets on every hand. They do not care about the house edge. They are deliberately losing a percentage of the $81 million. They are paying a 1.06% tax to the casino. It is a laundering fee. The dealer distributes the cards. The round resolves. When the hackers win a hand, the dealer does not pay them in dead chips. The dealer pays the winnings in live chips. Live chips carry a different color profile and a different RFID signature. Live chips are fully liquid. They are unquestionable. They represent legitimate, legally acquired casino winnings. The cycle repeats at high speed. The hackers push stacks of dead chips into the center of the table. The dealer pulls the dead chips into the tray and pushes stacks of live chips back across the felt. The physical mass of the stolen federal reserves is systematically processed through the mathematical variance of a 52-card deck. The money changes state. The toxic origin is scrubbed clean. This mechanical process continues uninterrupted for days. Millions of dollars are washed every hour. The live chips are accumulated. They are carried to the VIP cashier cages. The casino exchanges the live chips for clean cash and wire transfers. The funds are distributed into offshore accounts in Macau. They are loaded onto private chartered jets idling on the tarmac at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The money is dispersed into the global shadow economy. The $81 million effectively ceases to exist. On Sunday, the Central Bank of Bangladesh finally boots up its SWIFT terminal in Dhaka. The error messages flood the screen. The jammed printers spit out the delayed confirmation receipts. The magnitude of the breach is realized. The alarms trigger across the global financial grid. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York issues immediate stop payment orders. The international authorities mobilize. The FBI opens a multi-jurisdictional investigation. The Philippine Anti-Money Laundering Council receives the urgent alert. The investigators trace the digital footprints back to the RCBC Jupiter branch. They raid the facility. They seize the server hard drives. They freeze the 4 suspect bank accounts. The balances show 0. The funds moved out days ago. The investigators follow the paper trail to the Philrem Remittance Company. The ledgers show the massive currency conversion. The trail points directly to the glass doors of the Solaire Resort and the Midas Hotel.
The authorities arrive at the casinos. They hit a solid legal firewall. The casino exemption in the Philippine law blocks their jurisdiction. The investigators cannot seize the casino funds. They are forced to request surveillance footage after the fact. They sit in dark rooms and watch the high-definition monitors. They watch the armored vans unload the cash. They watch the junket operators distribute the dead chips. They watch the Baccarat tables operate at maximum capacity. They witness the exact mechanical process of the laundering operation unfolding in high resolution. They watch the live chips go to the cashier. They track the wire transfers leaving the jurisdiction. They are watching a ghost. The authorities managed to recover $15 million that was abandoned in the pipeline. $66 million remains completely unrecoverable. The paper trail ends at the green felt of the Baccarat table. The irony of this operation is absolute.
The hackers executed a digital strike against the most sophisticated cybersecurity infrastructure on the planet. They compromised a sovereign central bank. They injected custom malware to blind the monitoring systems. They successfully manipulated the SWIFT network. They breached the digital vault of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. They bypassed encryption protocols that secure trillions of dollars in daily global trade.
But to finalize the greatest cyber heist in human history, they did not rely on advanced algorithms. They did not deploy a zero-day exploit to erase their physical tracks. They used a deck of playing cards. They used plastic chips. They sat in a heavily monitored room and played a simple game of chance. And they used the deliberate blind spots of a sovereign legal system to walk away entirely untouched. The ultimate weapon against a billion-dollar digital defense network was the physical law of a casino floor. This is Clarity Uncovered. We expose the precise mechanics of the impossible. Leave a comment below. What system should we break down next? Subscribe and hit the notification bell, because the greatest vulnerabilities are never hidden in the code. They are written into the law.